Hey, welcome back to Monster Gaming. Had the day off, so figured I would do another video. So I wanted to do a part two. The first one was a little bit long, a little bit of a rant kind of thing, just going over it. So basically, I'm just giving you ideas of why you should be playing this game. It's a game that I think has been copied a bunch of times. There's other games that are in this genre, so even if they're similar, they feel like a copy, but it is a type of game, like a gem matching game, slight RPG kind of elements, and then you're building your little empire like it shows here. Nowadays, there's a bunch of games like this. I would say one of the fathers of this game is Puzzle and Dragons, even though it does play a little bit different. I think there's a little bit more strategy on your board in that game, versus there's a little bit more luck on this board, on the boards in this game. But I wanted to show you a little bit of gameplay. So I'm gonna go into the map here because the last one I didn't really show you how the game plays. I just talked a little bit about the things that I like about the game. Let's see. I'm gonna pick one here. When you play a level in the game, it tells you the enemies, and then the big one on the far right is the boss, or the main boss, and it'll tell you what color they are. And then this is different loot that you can get. You get the loot to craft items. Usually in this one, it's going to be like war items or battle items, like healing potions, all kinds of things like that. Sometimes you will get ascension material as well, which will help you level up your characters. Very early in the game, it's only going to help you level up or ascend your 1 and 2 stars. The 3-star ones are going to be a little harder to get, and so on. But we're going to give this one a shot. I'm going to put in my beta team. Let's see if I have another one. It's my defense. So my beta team is a team that I have been working on leveling up. As you can tell, they're 4 stars and 5 stars. None of these are in my main teams, but I've been kind of just having them in here to kind of mess around. Down here it says battle items, so you can switch out the battle items. I know originally most of the other games, when you went to battle, there was no such thing as battle items. So I thought that was such a cool thing that they added, that in the midst of battle you can heal yourself or use potions, different things like that. You can't do that when you're fighting for your rank, because you're going toe-to-toe, my units versus your units. There's no battle items there. And in the wars, there's no battle items. Versus the Titans, you can use battle items, and most of the regular stages and quests that follow the level progression type thing, you can use battle items. Most of the time, I don't like to use it. If and when I feel like I do start using them, that's when I know that my team needs to be stronger and needs to be tweaked. Now, this is a different formation than you will normally see. Normally, they'll be in a little, not really a straight line, but you'll have access to all of them. And the person in the middle is usually the one that you hit the most. So the board is randomized. Up here on the top right, it says wave 1 of 3, which means that there's 3 waves, and then the third one is when the boss shows up. So it's good to know how much more game you have before you get to that spot. On the top left, you'll see the rock, paper, scissors setup, where fire beats green, which is nature, and nature beats water, and then water beats fire. But then there's 2 on the other side, that's yellow and purple, which is basically good magic versus bad magic. So when you first start the game, you definitely want to start with the rainbow team, which means 1 character of every color, and then that will get you through some levels for sure. You'll start the game with Bane. Pretty early on in the game, you'll get Bane, who is a 3-star yellow. He hits 1 person pretty hard, and then I forget what else he does, but he's a pretty solid unit. And at that time, you're going to start the game with 1 and 2 star characters, and that's it. So he will be your only 3-star. So you definitely want to level him up as quickly as possible, because he's really going to make a difference. So when you're playing the board, the minimum match is 3. You can't match 2. That doesn't do anything. 3 just clears those 3 tiles. I'm going to do that just to show you here. So I'm going to put these 3, and then you see that they turn into troops, and it's your troops that are going to go and hit them. So when you might have seen it in the previous screen, you had your heroes on the top, and then you had troops underneath them. So the troops are the ones that are going to give you boosts. Basically, they're going to help your output, damage, defense, things like that for your hero. So you want to make sure that they are also leveled up as well. So not only are you leveling up heroes, but you also want to have good troops. Troops are pretty easy to come by, but they're usually going to be pretty basic and generic. To get the better ones, you're going to have to summon them, or get much further down in the game, where you can start getting the 3 stars and 4 stars. I'm pretty sure at this point 4 stars is the highest you can get on troops. Eventually you can get a troop building that you can build, and then you can start training your own troops, and you can also start leveling them up. It's extremely expensive, and like I said, it's probably when you get really close to the mid game that you will unlock that. So you can't rely on that at the beginning of the game. At the beginning of the game, you just want to make sure that whoever you have is leveled up, and you're continuing to level up. Now, if you have a situation here where you're joining 4 tiles in a row, it's going to make like a little shield of that icon, and when you burst that, it's going to burst in a plus formation. So let me see if we can get that shortly. The other one is once you get to 5, which I have 5 yellows right here. I'm going to move this yellow over here. And this is how you get a diamond, is when you do 5 of a color. When you explode that, it's going to blow up every piece of that color that's on the board. So those are huge. That's a huge thing to do. Now, why do you want to blow up these things, right? Why, other than the troops are going to go, because the troops are attacking, not the heroes. The heroes will attack when they do their special move. So why does it matter, if you're doing a ton of troops or not? It does, because you're going to do damage. But the second thing is, if you look at her right here, Lady of the Lake, beneath her you see a blue bar. Once the blue bar is filled, she can do her super move. So that's where the difference is. Everybody can attack with the troops. Everybody's going to do what they're going to do. What makes your characters unique and different is their special moves. So I don't have any yellows, but I do want to clear the board a little bit to get some more. And you'll see that once these clear, if I get more matches after that, they magnify. See, it says combo 2. So those would have hit harder. So I'm going to connect these red here, just because that's probably a good move anyways. But see the, actually I'm not, sorry. See this shield looking thing with a little skull in it? This green one that's blinking? If I were to pop that, it would explode in that T formation that I talked about before. So one thing, because this is turn-based, you can take your time a little bit, kind of think about it. There's no point in rushing. You want to, make sure you're doing a good move. And then you want to look at everything. So if you look all the way on the top at all the enemies, you can see their life. None of these are bosses or very leveled up. So they're not going to have that mana meter beneath them. But eventually you will. Usually the bosses do, and also much more difficult characters are going to have a mana meter too. And they're also going to have a super move. So you got to be careful with that. Now, when you're looking at them, you can see that some of them say 1, one of them says 2 over here, and a couple of them say 3. That tells you which turn they're going to attack back. So usually you want to take out the people that are going to attack you the soonest, unless they're really weak and you don't care, because the stronger unit is going to hit you in a few turns, and maybe you want to take them out first. So you definitely have a little strategy there of who you want to attack and when. So it's a combination. So a combination of who do you want to attack, if possible. Because remember, when you pop these tiles, they're only going to go straight up. So if you're trying to hit somebody way on the right, but there's nothing way on the right to pop, you're out of luck a little bit. So I'm going to pop this, or I'm not going to pop this. I'm going to move this red over here because I want to get some of the reds to go through and pop and destroy that guy in the middle. Now it's going to be easier to hit the 2 in the back. So let's see what we can do. And now I'm looking down here too to see who's going to get their mana first. So I'm just going to show you Lady of the Lake down here where it says Magical Sword. On the left side it says slow. What that means is that she requires a lot of mana to be able to fill up her mana meter to be able to do her super move. Now if I run over to this guy here, Xiao Dun, who's one of my new characters that I got very recently, and I like him so far. His says fast. All right, so if I were, this is actually a pretty good move because I have a ton of blue on here. I should be able to pop the blue diamond here, do some serious damage because a lot of tiles are going to fall. Maybe more will fall after that. And when that's all said and done, I'm also going to be able to do his super move, which deals 345% damage to the target. He summons a soldier minion, which also will attack and defend a little bit, but they're usually very minor, but they're still useful. And then it says each hit from the soldier minion dispels all the spell buffs from the target, which is nice. That's the part that's going to be a little confusing when you first start the game, is you really need to read what the super moves are, the special moves are for your characters, and kind of memorize them. You know, you want to know what they do. You want to know if they're fast, average, or slow, because that will tell you who's going to be triggered first, who's going to be triggered second, who's going to be triggered third, etc. If they're going to be triggered last, or because they're slow, you want to make sure that they stay alive. You don't want to have some slow people, and then by the time it takes them to fill up their mana meter, they're dead. So always be aware. You want to have a blend of average, have at least one fast person. You can have a slow person in there somewhere, maybe a tank, you know, somebody can take a beating and can stay alive, or have a healer somewhere in here that keeps everybody alive. So by the time they can go off, they have plenty of life because your healer was healing you. So let's do this blue and see all the damage that happens. Nice. Did a bunch of combos, and like I said, he turned. Now he's flashing because it says that you can do a special move. Now the cool thing is also that you can target, so you're not fighting aimlessly. He's probably going to do the most damage, or he has the most life. But I can actually click on him. His attack is 510. You only have 3 attributes when you're looking at stats of the actual character, not anything beyond that. So there's 510 attack, 272 shield, which is defense, and then 544 life. But this guy's only at 393. So let's look at this guy, 519, 276, 553. So they're very similar. So I'm going to do this. Now he does some really cool animation. The majority of the 4 stars and 5 stars have really great animation when they do their super moves. Now the characters that came out at the beginning of the game, a lot of them are pretty generic on their special animations, but that's fine. That's what they were working with back then. But they've since become a lot more interesting. So let's keep moving along here. And then this guy's not going to hit me for another 2 turns. So this should actually knock him out right here. So there's one other thing that I didn't discuss, which I will right now, is how do you ramp up your mana? Is there a way to ramp up, or is there a way that you can do it a little quicker than just, just playing like you normally would? So let me move this because I want a diamond here. Wow, see? A lot of times you end up with tons of combos that do some great stuff. And you saw that these 3 minions, they look like little hats down here, the little blue hats. Once our turn is done, they hit the opponent. And then as long as they're alive, they will do a little bit of damage, which is nice. So let me clear out something. I don't need a lot of life, but the other thing that she does is she gives the people next to you a little sword that does pretty good damage. So let's see. Let's do this. I do feel like at the first few levels, like the first half of the levels, the boards tend to be pretty advantageous. But when you increase the difficulty in the game, they're usually not as easily. You can't get these diamonds as easily. You can still do it, but they're not as obvious, I guess. All right, so here's another thing. So let's say I want to get this guy completely leveled up on his mana, so he can do a super move. If there's no enemy up here, they double their the mana that they get from the troops, versus if you just hit somebody. So I'm gonna send this guy that's by himself. Oh no, I can't because he's by himself. Duh. Let's see. I think I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna see that red one there went for double, and that went for double. So let me just clear this. So that's another big strategy, is you don't want to just keep hitting the enemy, because the more you hit them, particularly if they are like a boss unit here that has that mana meter in the bottom, the more you actually hit him, the quicker his mana fills up. He fills up faster with getting hit. So he doesn't act the same way that ours does, because he's not attacking us. He can't move those tiles to us and gain mana. He gets a he gets a little bit of mana per turn, just a tiny bit of mana per turn. But if you start hitting him, then he starts accumulating mana that way too. So you just got to be careful. So let's see. I'm going to do the yellow just to clear some tiles. So see how his mana bar just went up? All right, so let me see. I don't want to wipe these guys out immediately because I wanted to show you something. So let me see if this will do something. Bam. All right, he's dead. I don't want to do the greens. I'm going to use her. Hers is really cool. She reduces the max health that they can have. So even if they heal, and the heal is supposed to fill them up 100%, it doesn't, because they're capped. And every time you use her, that goes lower and lower and lower. And if they are at full health, it basically lowers their health, because it can't go beyond a certain point. They're supposed to be like a consort. He's supposed to be like a Genghis Khan kind of character. Very effective. Another thing that he does, because they did change his stats, like I said before, or the other video, every now and again they will update some of the characters. So his mana generation, and for his nearby two people nearby him, increases for the next 5 turns. And their defense goes up by 54% for those two people. So he became much better than he used to be. He used to just do some damage and not too much more. This is much more useful. The only drawback, of course, is that he's slow, so you do need to wait for him to ramp up. So I'm going to use this guy. He's the hero of the month right now. Got him, without paying money, so I got lucky with my pull. He's good, and he hits hard. He'll hit 3 people, and then in addition to that, plus 10 defense for any fire heroes. So you put him on a all red team, he's gonna increase that defense, and he already has the extra defense from Kagan. So them two together are actually pretty badass, because they will increase their defense for both. Then it'll add a little bit of defense, even more so, from Zagrog. And if they're right next to each other, they will speed up their mana regeneration. So that's what I'm talking about, that there's always going to be like synergies with different characters, and trying to find those is super fun. You might seem like 2 characters work really well together, but maybe not. So this is telling you what you gain. You always have the XP first. So you win XP playing any level, any stage, other than wars and regular matchups. You get ham, which is food, and then you get iron as well, which is nice. And then you get, a lot of times you will find recruits, which will help you summoning more heroes. And then down here you have crafting and essential materials. There's nothing special. And every now and again you will find a hero and they will join your party. Super simple. The reason I was also doing the video is I wanted to get to that 100 right there. So I'm going to do something here to speed that up. You can win loot tickets periodically. So I'm going to spend a couple. And each loot ticket basically lets you beat that stage automatically. And it says right here, and obviously it has to be stages that you've already won. But you still use the flags that you would have spent. So let me do this, and this should get me a lot more XP, a lot more materials, hopefully maybe one hero in a troop. Not a hero, that's fine. Now, the reason I did that is I wanted to show you these three things up here. They rotate periodically once you defeat them, but they don't expire. So you could be sitting on 0 heroes forever until you actually go and try to fight some heroes. But it's worth it to complete these because then you get a lot of goodies. So we're going to open the monster chest here. Antidotes. So if you saw before, you would actually get the materials to make antidotes. So this is one step further. I got a summit ticket, which is nice, and I got some gems. So I'm going to claim that, and I'm going to summon down here. These are the free ones. You get one free one a day, and then there is a video that you can watch, so you can do it twice a day. These are very generic characters, so you never want to summon on this specific thing once you have teams of 3 stars and higher. Every now and again you could get a 3-star because I think there are here, but it's very unlikely to get a 3-star from here. But we're going to summon because I always need heroes to feed to my other heroes. Barbaric Berserkers. So I already have something better than that, but I can always feed that to the other troops. So this was just a quick look at the gameplay. There's so much more involved. There's a lot of other videos out there that explain what all the heroes do, the best of each color, which one works good in this situation, that situation. Like, I'm not going to go in depth with that at all. There's just so much, way too many heroes, way too much information out there. But I wanted to show you what the stage looked like. We'll go up to over the quests, and you'll see there's a bunch of different stuff here. I'm always full with iron lately, so I don't need to be doing those. But these are great quests that you can do. I think you have to be like level 8 or 10 to unlock the quests. So these will be unavailable at the beginning of the game. Oh, find crafting materials. Common, it'll tell you if it's common or uncommon. Let's look at this one. I don't need iron, but it tells you how difficult it is, 1360. So that's something we're going to look at in a second. And then it tells you the price over there on that side. Now, if you go over here to your hero roster, go to edit team. Underneath the person's photo, it says their power. So that's their level. So that's a combination of all their stats, their superpower ability and level, and I guess all their level stuff is combined, and they put it in here under power. So the more leveled up they are, the more leveled up their super special skill is, the higher this power is. And then on the top, you'll see the full team power. So you'll always know before you go into a battle what your team power is. And I'm pretty sure in everything, you'll be able to see the opponent's team power. So you'll know if you're far off or if you're close, if you should even attempt the battle. I have solid color teams for a variety of reasons. I'll probably do another video about that. But yeah, that was just a quick look at the gameplay. The tutorial is super simple. I think they should have I don't know if they should have a different tutorial or add it to tutorial, because they've added so many more like complexities, I think, to the game, other things to consider. But it's a super easy game to start, super easy game to get into. You'll very quickly have 5 units for a nice opening roster, and enough to have fun. And as you progress in the game, you'll start getting a lot more 3 stars. You'll see a huge difference between a 2-star and a 3-star in attack, defense, super moves. If I recall, yeah, I think 2-stars have super moves. I don't remember if 1-stars do. Let me look at the one that we just acquired down here. Yeah, they have special skill, but nothing crazy. She's pretty good if you look at her. She's fast and does 240 damage to the target. That's pretty cool. But she's only a 1-star, and her attack power is so weak. So, but you kind of learn. You learn with the 1-stars and the 2-stars. Like hers is, she's a healer, recovers 20% health for all allies. But she's only 1-star, so she'll be knocked out so fast. Needler is one of the best 2-stars when you're starting out the game. You can level him up, putting him side by side with some other characters, and for a 2-star, he's good. 215 damage to the target, and he hits fast, which is nice. So there's several 2-stars that are okay, but there's usually like a 3-star version of that character, or somebody that does something similar, but just does it way better, and they're 3-stars, so they're just going to be way stronger. Yeah, so just looking at this as an example, you can see Sharon is a level 1-star, hasn't leveled up at all. She's 143 power. Needler is also a level 1, hasn't been leveled up at all. He's 185. Then you look at Bane up here. Bane is a level 1, has not been upgraded, nothing to him, and he's 246. So his stats are way better than Needler's and way better than Sharon. Let's see. And then I have Anton up here, which I haven't done anything with. He's interesting though. And I leveled him up once, so he hasn't really moved up that much. But he's a 4-star and he's already at 330, just starting out. So there's a big difference when you jump from 1-star to a 2-star, then a 3-star, and then a 4-star. Between 4-star and 5-star, yes, there's a difference. But I don't think the jump is as pronounced. It's only as pronounced or really different when they're in the top 2 tiers. That's when you really see a huge difference. Because you can see 1-stars can only go 2 levels. And I'm looking at the little arrows. They're not technically levels, but ascension levels. Needler can go 3 levels total. Bane can go 3 levels total. Anton can go 4 levels total. And I think 5-stars are the same. Yeah, 5-stars can do 4 levels total. But that was a quick look at that. I'm going to continue doing these. I think I'm going to do another one maybe in a week or something like that. And maybe we'll look at some of the heroes a little closer, or maybe building over here. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But this was a part 2. Just wanted to show you the actual gameplay. Because if you've never played this game, that's probably what you're interested in. It's how do I play? What does the game actually look like? Not just staring at this thing here. So I wanted to show you that. And lastly, we're looking for some more players for North Stars. Come join us. We play every day. Mind you, this is not a game that you're going to play an hour to 2 hours at a time. You're going to run out of flags. It's not a game that you can play nonstop. It's not like a farming game or a city building game where, if you takes a little bit of time, you have something else that you can work on, and then another thing, and then another thing. This one is controlled by your flags. You can win replenishments for flags, which I think are flasks. So you could play extended periods of time, I guess. But usually save those for tournaments and other special events or things like that. But yeah, we play every day. But let's say you jump in and you're playing and we're not there. That doesn't mean we're not playing, because you can see when the last time they played just by clicking on the person. Last active right now. But yeah, you probably do 20 to 30 to 45-minute sessions at a time. So it's not gonna take up your whole day. It's not gonna take up your whole life. You can play in bits and pieces, and you can still do really well. So I know this was another very long video. Thanks for checking it out. But as you can tell, I enjoy the game. There's a lot to it. Very simple to understand once you play it a little bit. But there's a lot going on there, and there's a lot of replayability, and there's a lot of new things to do all the time. So thanks for watching.